you haven't pre-ordered F1 2017 just yet, guys, don't forget to check out Simply Games for a brilliant, brilliant price as well. Be top link down in the description, guys, and if you order through that link, you also help me out. So here we are then, guys, for one of the toughest challenges I could possibly think of for F1 2017, guys. And as you all have seen by the title, you know, this is not going to be an easy feat, because today, guys, you know, this is day one of F1 2017. I'm going to be driving classic cars for a 100% race around the Monaco Grand Prix circuit, guys. I've opted to pick the Ferrari F2004. I will be starting from last. I'll be running a multi-class race. The only assists I am using is just the racing line, Monaco at night. You know, it doesn't get much tougher than this. Ultimate AI. You know, the full works of everything being ramped up to 12, really, when you think about it, guys. 100% race distance, as I said. So, first of all, you know, we're going to have to fight our way through the field as well. Like, you know, the Class 2 cars, if you will. I think that's what they're called in the game. But we just need to customize the session time to nighttime, ready for the start of this Monaco Grand Prix. You can only pray, you know, that it doesn't actually rain during this, but we'll have to wait and see, guys. But setting it then to midnight for, obviously, qualifying we're not going to be doing, but for the race, once again, it will be midnight for 78 laps around the Monaco Grand Prix circuit, guys. This is going to be very, very interesting. I have no idea how well I'm going to fare, how well my pace will be, but that's all that really matters, you know. When you get the new game, this is sort of just one of those silly things you just have to try out.
We've been welcomed with open arms once again to this, the most famous event of them all. The anticipation is rising as we get ready for racing here at the Monaco Grand Prix.
And I'll tell you one thing to begin with, this Monaco circuit at night looks absolutely fantastic, guys, you know. It was one of those ones that I was sort of a bit iffy when they announced it, you know, sort of might be a bit of a novelty, but Codemasters have really nailed it, guys. But we are going to be starting then from last place. The first job we have to do is get through all the back marker cars. Going to run about 80 laps worth of fuel, just so, you know, we don't have to run, you know, don't have to sort of think about it too much during the race. It'll only be a no-stop Grand Prix, guys. But here we are then, 5 lights for the Monaco Grand Prix. And it is lights out and away we go. And off to a fairly standard start there, you know, with a lot more power than the 80s McLaren's just there. You know, we're able to move straight up into P18 there, but into turn 1, just trying to keep it nice and clean. One of them, as I look back around my outside there, we're obviously going to have a lot more power up the hill, guys, but now we've just got a wall of cars just ahead of me here, trying to keep it clean at the top of the hill there. And there's one of the 1998 McLarens just facing the wrong way that I try and get through. Unfortunately, the McLaren alongside me there does try to go for the same gap as myself, so we've dinked the front wing there straight away, but we've come out of that basically unscathed in the grand scheme of things. You know, that could have come out a whole lot worse there as to go back down his inside in towards the Lowe's hairpin now, guys. Trying to have a look, you know, trying to avoid locking up the front brakes too much and just trying to keep it nice and tidy here as we are all over the back of these much, much slower cars. And, you know, we need to try and get past these guys as quickly as we possibly can as we go down the inside through the tunnel section now. As you can see, so fast. I think we're clocking out at about 180 down in towards the next chicane there, guys. But still holding on quite nicely at the moment. Fly past the other 19, you know, the early 90s, late 80s McLaren there. So those are 4 of the slowest cars that we've really got to get past nice and early on in this race. And now we're sort of greeted with the 95 Ferrari, I think, or the 92 Ferrari, as well as the sort of the mid-90s Williams cars as well. So if we can try and get past these guys as well nice and quickly, it'll be very, very ideal there as we come out of the final corner. Then the V10 pushing it to its absolute limits as we go right around the outside down in towards turn 1 there, locking up both front brakes ever so slightly there as we're just trying to get the car slowed down into turn 1 there. But up the hill we go, right all over the gearbox of the Williams car there, and we're going to go round the outside in towards Casino Square here. Right around the outside we go there. A move that we might actually have to do quite often in this race, guys, because, you know, this isn't just a standard Formula 1 race. This is like having a multi-class race where we've got these guys that's sort of a good 10 seconds a lap slower. We're going to be lapping these guys sort of 6-7 times during this Grand Prix, so it just adds to that extra element, guys. But still on the rear of yet another Ferrari here as we come in towards the hotel section once more here. Down the inside we go, in through here, and there should be another Texman move there, rubbing up against both walls there on the entrance and exit there. And we just about hold it as we go past him. And next up is another one of the later 90s Williams cars here. And, you know, we've already got through most of this C2 class for this race. You can see at the top left-hand side, there is the at the top 20, which is obviously everyone on track, and then a top 10 for everyone in my class, guys. But down in towards the final couple of corners to finish a lap 2, a huge tank slapper there as we come through the corner. This car, when you really push it to the limit, you know, it will bite back at you guys. But down towards turn 1 once more, we're going to have a look right around the outside of the Williams there. He gets a little bit funny, pushes me in the wall, completely hops over the curbs there and runs massively deep. So we're just going to move straight past him, you know, and try not to worry about that too much there as we move up into P11 of the race there. So fairly good start in the grand scheme of things. And now all we need to do is try and push. And the first thing we've got to do at the end of lap 3 is just try and close down the last of the C2 class cars, which is the 1998 the other 1998 McLaren F1 car there, guys. As we come through the final corner and down towards the line there, we should be able to get him down in towards turn 1 here. V10 versus V10 there. We're going to have a look. We think about going for a move up the inside there, but we think better of it. As you know, this car actually isn't too slow down the straights, guys. It's quite clearly the superior C2 car there as he squeezes me up the hill. But we do now move up into P10 of the race. Effectively now just in last place in my class. And we've got about a 5-6 second gap to try and close down to the cars ahead of me. You know, this is just going to now be trying to just get as much possible pace out of the car for as long as we can over the course of the rest of the race, guys. But 5 laps later onto lap 8, and we have closed up to the first of the C1 class cars, which is the 2007 Ferrari, as we come in towards the tunnel section here. You know, V8 versus V10. We do have a bit more power here, guys. We're going to go for a bit of a switchback to the outside in towards the next chicane there, but we do get him under brake in there. So up to P9 we go, and now we are starting to make gains in my own class of cars here. Now, this is really where we do need to be pushing. These are the overtakes that actually do matter in this race, guys. You know, it's looking quite good at the moment as we come through the final sector of this lap. And, you know, we're only 8 laps in, and you know, this car is still so much fun. Definitely not going to get bored of it anytime soon, guys. But I would highly recommend, you know, as well, that you do try out this challenge. You know, even if it's only a 50% race, especially with some of the slower cars, you know, it really adds an extra element to the racing, guys. It's like racing, you know, watching Le Mans or something like that. But, you know, around a street circuit, it's always that bit tougher, guys. As now we are on the back of the other 07 Ferrari, as well as two Lewis Hamilton's 2008 McLaren F1 cars, guys. And we're going to try and have a look up the inside of the first one of them, down in towards turn 1 there. Try and squeeze him out a little bit wide there. Make sure he does back out of the move there. And we now move up into P8 of this Monaco Grand Prix here. So these early stages still very exciting and very crucial, you know, that we get these moves done nice and quickly, because you got things like the F2002, the other F2004, and the Red Bull RB6 are all very quick. So if we can try and get up to those guys nice and quickly, that'll be very ideal as we dive it down the inside in through the Lowe's hairpin there. A little bit of contact made as he squeezed me out wide, nearly into the wall there through the next corner. A little bit of contact as I thought he had backed out, but nothing that cost us either of us too much time there, guys. We're now 3 wide technically going down into the tunnel, but there's just a good comparison of how much extra power this V10 really does kick out over its V8 counterparts there as we go through the next chicane there. We now up into P7 of the race, and we've got a couple of seconds gap to try and close down to the other 07 Ferrari there, which is now battling the first of the lapped cars here, the 1989 McLaren. Really, obviously, is so old. It's just struggling for pacer as we go up his inside on the exit of the Lowe's hairpin there. And, you know, up, you know, we're only 11 laps into the race, so at the moment it's looking like we could lap him a minimum of 7 times, guys. But now skipping on a few corners later, and now we've caught up to the back of the 1998 McLaren there, as he's going to run a little bit deep into Rascas there, try and give us both a bit of space as the back end still kicking out in this 2004 Ferrari there. You know, it's not the most difficult car in the world to drive, but it definitely, you know, still does kick out the rear end. But round the outside in towards turn 1 we do go there, and we actually make that move stick for the first time this race there. So now up into P6 we go, and next up on my hit list will be the 2 F2002s, but there's still a few more lapped cars to go before we do close up to those guys. You know, this is, you know, it's just these little things that can either make or break your race. You know, trying to find lap cars, you know, it's normally bad in Formula 1, but when you're racing cars that are 20 years slower and, you know, 10, 15 seconds a lap slower as well, as we skid around the outside of the Williams there, you know, just adds that extra element of depth and, you know, really just makes these races even more interesting there as the other 1991 McLaren does move out of my way there. But now, you know, we've sort of just got to put our head down, try and get through the lap cars and when we get the opportunities there, and just sort of try and make our way all the way through the field there as we do dink that wall on the exit of the corner there, but we do come out of that completely unscathed, luckily enough. And now skipping on to the end of, well, the midway around lap 18 here, and we finally caught up to the first of the 2002 cars there, guys. But you would have just seen someone has gone purple, so the race leader is already on lap 19 of the Grand Prix there, as we think about going for a move down the inside into the chicane, but think better of it there as we come through to back now. A brilliant corner there, rubbing up against the wall as the back end tries to just kick out just a little bit there, making a tiny bit more contact with the wall, but right all over the gearbox of the F2002 here, and just going to try and find any way possible through as we come now down into the final corner of the lap here, and using third gear, a little bit short shift in there, try and give myself a bit of a better run there. We think about going for a move there, we can dive it down the inside in towards turn 1 there, using all the curb and a bit more, but we do move up into P5 now of the race, a quarter of the way through now. So, you know, it's looking quite strong, and the other F2002 is only a couple of seconds up the road here, so, you know, it shouldn't be too long until we can catch up with him. And now, as you can see, lap cars starting to cause even more havoc, you know, as they get a bit more spread out. Just makes it even more, you know, constantly trying to overtake them there, as the 1998 McLaren all in the way there, as we just both get through at Rascas there. The back end once more, kick it out as much as I possibly can, and down towards the start-finish line now. We've got an ever so slightly better run, obviously a slightly more modern car, and down the inside once more we go. Just 2 laps later after we made the original move, and we now move up into P4 of the Monaco Grand Prix there. So 16 places made in the first 21 laps of this race, guys. But, you know, this is far from over, because the next car up the road will be the other F2004 there, as we go right around the outside of a McLaren through the next couple of corners there. But yep, obviously, as I said, the next car will be the F2004, the other F2004 there. So, you know, if we can try and close back up to him nice and soon, guys. You can see by the end of lap 29, the gap was coming down at this moment in time, guys. You can see coming over the timing screen, it is down to, I think that's 13.5 seconds as we move on to lap 30 of this Grand Prix. You know, this race, we're not even halfway through yet, and we're already on lap 30, guys. But skipping on a little bit further forward through the next 4 or 5 laps here, you know, lap cars causing more and more havoc. You know, the more spread out they do get, as one of the McLarens thinks about backing out of the way, and sort of the walls sort of prevented him from doing that, as well as I probably would have liked here. And, you know, you sort of just find little trains of cars here as one of the Ferraris does move out of my way there. But as I was saying, you know, sort of just find small trains of cars here, and, you know, if you can try and get past all of them as quickly as possible, you know, it does really save your race a lot more than you would ever think, guys. And now as we go right around the outside of one of the Williams cars, that's just one of the really good visual representations of how much time, you know, how much quicker this F2004 car is in comparison to some of the other classic Formula 1 cars, guys. I've actually got a comparison of this versus an F1 2017 car coming out later on today, guys. And now skipping on to lap 43 here, all over the shop. But fortunately for me, you know, my teammate is getting held up behind one of the 1989 McLaren cars there. They both run deep, and I dive down the inside of the pair of them there. So a very, very risky move there, but another position made up. Onto the podium we go in this race, and now all we've got to attempt to do is hunt down the RB6s, guys. They're a good sort of 30 seconds up the road, though. We've only got another 34 laps to do so, guys. And unfortunately, you know, after that point, it was sort of a bit just trying to keep the car in one piece there as we dive it down the inside of one of the Williams cars through the Lowe's hairpin once more. And, you know, the RB6s, although we were closing down the gap, they were very, very quick there as we kick out the back end, trying to make a move on one of the old McLarens, guys. I will be uploading a video where I've got about a 10-lap sprint during this race where I'm just on full maximum attack, that I will be uploading to my second channel as well. Just no sort of talking over it, just raw gameplay, guys, between about sort of lap 66 and the end of the race, guys. But coming through in towards the final sector there. We've got another retirement there, the third retirement of the day there, guys. But that was sort of really the last sort of thing that happened, you know, just trying to fight our way through the lapped traffic. And as we move on to the final lap of this Monaco Grand Prix, guys, you know, this race almost has flown by, really. I think we've been going for just over about 95 and nearly 100 minutes at this point, you know, so it wasn't a particularly quick race, but it was very, very enjoyable. And you can just see, you know, the old McLarens, they were, I think, sort of 8-9 laps behind at this point, so it really does say, you know, how much longer races back in the day would have been, guys. But, you know, we've got a couple of cars just up the road. Unfortunately for me, it is actually P4 and P5 in the other two F2002s there. So if we could try and get past them, that would be very, very ideal. But I think I'm already a lap ahead of them at this point. So unfortunately, you know, sort of the last 35 laps of this race were a bit lonely. I think the other F2004 did unfortunately retire from the Grand Prix there, guys. One of the RB6s did win the race, guys. But look around this final sector. Look at all the fireworks there. That was a really nice surprise, you know, the first I'd seen of all of that. They're lighting up the whole of the city there, and, you know, absolutely brilliant to see. And actually quite, you know, something a little bit nice to finish off a 100% race, guys. We come through the final corner of the Monaco Grand Prix from last to P3 overall there. I think, you know, we can be very, very happy with that result in the end.
Here come our winning drivers then, out onto the podium at the end of a thrilling Grand Prix. The drama and excitement are over, and it's time to let it all sink in. Congratulations to our top three today. That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time.
So there we are then, guys, the end of the F1 2017 Monaco 100% night race. You know, that was an absolutely brilliant experience to do, and, you know, if you've got some spare time, I would highly recommend doing it as well. That race took literally 100 minutes and about 30 seconds there, so fairly good race on the whole, and we were the only other driver apart from the RB6s to finish within 2 laps of the eventual race winner there, guys. The F2002s were sort of a bit in no man's land, as the 2008 and 2007 Ferrari and McLarens was sort of pretty damn close there in the end of that Grand Prix, guys. But hopefully, you know, if you have enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, subscribe. You know, this race was really, took quite a long time to record, but, you know, it was really good fun. And, you know, if you're looking forward to F1 2017, you know, when it does release to the public on Friday, I would highly recommend having a look at Monaco at night, because it is well and truly a brand new experience, guys. But as I said, hopefully you've liked and subscribed, and I will see you guys next time for a brand new video.